So in an art trade that I just did, I got these little artist tiles. They're 4 by 4 inches, and I absolutely love them, and I'm going to use them forever because they are great. So here's some of the things I've been doodling with them. This little picture, I actually hold this up to stuff and take pictures because it's funny. Here's a little Yoda. Here's a little camera. Here's another camera. Here's a salt shaker that says, "Baby, don't be salty with me." A little R2 unit, and another little R2 unit. So in today's video, here is my little model R2 unit. So I'm going to doodle this really fast on this paper, and hopefully it comes out well and I can do it fast enough that the video is not 100 minutes long. Right, so I have my Micron 01 pen. Of course, we love these. And usually with the pencil drawings, I've made videos on how I do those. But with some of these ink doodles, I do it a little differently. And it's usually a contour drawing, which means I don't pick up the pen a lot. I don't sketch it out first. I just sort of start drawing the lines and kind of go, as it were. Right, so I'm going to start with the top. And they're not always perfect, and the point is just to sort of have fun and make a little doodle. It doesn't have to be, you know, exactly perfect. So we're going to start with the top, right? And I'm going to do, at the end, the last thing I'm going to do is make like a really thick outline around the whole thing. Right, but for now, I just want to sort of get these details in here. And I'm just using this little toy as my reference. Right, for what this should look like. And again, right, I'm not trying to make this perfect. I just want to make it like a fun little sort of warm-up drawing, if you will, for the day. And I think that's why I like the art tiles so much, because it's just like little individual pieces of paper. And it is really high quality paper. But I think when you have just like the individual pieces and it's tiny, it's sort of like less pressure, if that makes sense, to make something like, oh, it has to be this perfect masterpiece, right? You can just sort of make a fun doodle and not like worry about it as much. So let's try and get these sides kind of even, if we can, right? That would be good. And here is the hardest thing about making these videos with glass, I will tell you right now. It is that the recording device sits a little bit higher than my eye. So I have to, when I'm making these, look down a little bit more than I normally would if I was drawing. So I have to kind of keep in mind that I need to sort of look down more than I normally would without it. So it gets a little tricky, but I'm working on it. And so after I have this drawn out, right, the last thing I want to do is color in some of the sections. I want to leave some of it white like you saw in the other drawings. I don't want to color in all of it, just some of it. So let's draw in the details on the body. And I also should mention, people ask a lot about, you draw multiples a lot, and why do you do that? And I think it's a good way to, first of all, if there's something that you like drawing, if you ever get to a point where you want to practice and you can't think of anything, right? If there's something that you like to do and you do a lot of, it keeps you practicing, which is important. But also it's a good way to measure your progress. So if you took a year and just drew birds, right? Even if you drew the exact same picture, you could still go back and compare them and say, oh, look, at some point I started doing this technique, which I think works really well. Or at some point, I really got a lot better with the proportions, and things like that. So I think in a way it's actually helpful to draw multiples of things. And I mention that because I draw a lot of Star Wars characters. And I do like being able to go back and compare them. And also they're just fun to draw, so. Okay, so let's make, here's the little R2 so far. So let's make the legs. So, and if you can't tell also, and please excuse my washing machine, I'm also making a lot of this up, right? So it's kind of like whatever works for the drawing. Again, it's just a cartoon and it doesn't have to be perfect. Let's see, so let's give him the heart bubble. Lovely. Let's put him on a background, which we're going to do by adding a single line. Right, and then I'm just going to go in and add a thick line all the way around the outside. Right, so you get the idea. There's our little droid doodle for this morning, and thank you for watching.